Well, hello and happy Friday. We've got a pretty good start to the weekend going on with some pretty nice weather here on this Friday, though we will have a chance of a shower or a thunder shower during the day tomorrow. And the best bet for that would be from the Grand Rapids area to the south. I want to take just a quick moment here to thank the people joining us from the Ottawa News Network, affiliates coming on board here. We want to thank you for hanging with us here, getting a little bit of weather information and some factual information to boot. Let's take a look right now at what's going on across the area. We'll start out with the lakeshore. We'll start out with the lakeshore forecast here for this Friday. The winds are really going to calm down. The picture there is a picture that was taken from the Gluro camera, which is on the South Haven Lighthouse, and you can see the water crashing over the pier there. You got like a waterfall going on. Pretty big waves out there, and hardly anybody on the beach as it was such a cold, windy day. At one point in time, I looked, and at the South Haven Lighthouse, the wind was northwest at 20 miles an hour with some gusts up around 25 to 30. So it was a pretty raw day. We had the clouds in the morning. That was a morning picture, but the clouds did break up some in the afternoon. We had a pretty nice sunrise. Here's a look at your water temperatures. Those may go down just a touch because of the upwelling that may have occurred with that northwest wind here. So we'll see if that's the case. Reed's Lake was down 4 degrees during the afternoon at 79. They were up as high as 83 here during the day on Wednesday. All right, let's move on now and take a look at our severe weather forecast across the United States. First of all, no severe weather in the state of Michigan today. It should be a pretty nice day. There are two areas where there's a marginal or level 1 risk. One is from Wyoming east into Iowa and southern Minnesota, and the other one is the mid-Atlantic states there, but we're not anticipating much in terms of severe weather. Anything would be pretty isolated. And then we move ahead to Saturday, and Saturday is getting a little closer. You can see there's a slight risk, that's level 2, mainly for strong winds again across southern Iowa, a good portion of northern and central Illinois, and into western Indiana. The marginal outlook comes into Berrien and Cass County, so we'll keep an eye on that. SPC says overall pattern will favor bouts of strong to severe. Now, let me preface this by saying the note here is related to the pattern that we're going to be seeing here into next week. And SPC says we may see a day or two with severe weather. Overall pattern will favor bouts of strong to severe storms in west-northwest flow across the northern plains and into the Midwest. So we have to, these storms tend to move fairly quickly and have a good punch of wind with them. They usually develop out in the Dakotas and then move eastward toward Michigan. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for next week. Okay, well, I want to take a moment now to thank our sponsors, starting with Complete Care Concierge.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
We continue to lose about 2 minutes worth of daylight each day, so the sunrise comes a minute later and the sunset a minute earlier. And we're at 6:20 and 9:16. Sunrise and sunset times for Grand Rapids. Again, the average high and low stays at 83 and 63 pretty much through the month of July. Record high temperature for today was set way back in 1894 at 101 degrees. The record low temperature, 47, occurred in 1924. So both of those go back more than 100 years. We have records going back to the 1880s here in Grand Rapids. All right, a little bit on the 66-hour rainfall across the area, and you can see there's going to be a lot of rain along the Ohio River Valley, mainly off to the south of us once again. And the rains continue from that depression down toward Louisiana along the Gulf Coast. Some places down there have picked up 2 to 4 inches of rain already, which is not that big a deal for them. Ponding of water, maybe a little local flooding in places, but really nothing major. And if we zoom into Michigan just a little bit here, we'll be able to show you that, again, that same area that doesn't seem to get much rain. Computer forecasting the least amount of rain from Holland to into the Grand Rapids area here, Allegan, Ottawa County. So we're hoping we can get you some rain. With this last batch that came in, I had a whopping 1/100th of an inch here at my house. So we've had to do some watering of the garden and whatnot. And then we'll take a look right now at high temperatures on Thursday. This is kind of interesting. For many of the cities, the high temperature occurred shortly after midnight, and then the cold front came through, and temperatures were actually only in the upper 60s and low 70s during the afternoon. The warmest spot was the Holland Beach. How often do you see that? And that's because the temperature was that warm at 12:01, right after midnight. And it didn't rain there, and they weren't cooled off by rain like the Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids were, and Battle Creek again got more rain. But temperatures were a bit cooler at the beaches. The South Haven temperature was the afternoon high temperature. I couldn't get a reading shortly after midnight that didn't go back that far, but that made for a pretty cool day. If you like it cool, head to the Barrow Airport, which is the northernmost airport in Alaska, and their high temperature was 48, which is about average for this time of year. And Phoenix, Arizona reached 101, and that sounds really hot, except their average high temperature for the date is 107. So they were 6 degrees cooler than average. They've had some clouds and a few sprinkles of rain out there to try and cool them off a little bit. Okay, on to what we have next here, some tropical data for you. There was a tropical depression down along the Gulf Coast, and every day they had upped it. They started out at nothing, and then 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and now it's jumped back to 10%. We're just not going to see any tropical development, and this will kind of rain itself out over Louisiana, but because it's moving so slowly, some places down there are likely to get about 2 to 3 inches of rain. No severe weather with that. I checked all the wind stations there, and I think the fastest wind I saw was only 15 miles an hour with gusts to around 25, so not that big a deal. Still nothing going on west of Mexico in the Pacific Ocean. In fact, they may go all the way to they started out great guns. They had, I think, 5 named storms out there, and then everything just quit. And we may go all the way until August before the next storm materializes there. In the Western Pacific Ocean, there is a couple of systems that we're watching. The first one in the center of the screen right there is got some pretty good thunderstorms with it, but it's kind of drifting around far from land, shouldn't present any problems, not expected to cause any significant damage or anything like that. And then we have a depression that's going to scoot by Taiwan and Japan, but it really, again, will not be a major hurricane. So good information coming from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, which is keeping track of the Indian and Pacific sectors for us. Okay, let's take a look at what we expect here for the next couple days. Mostly sunny and pleasant today. There'll be a chance of a shower or storm on Saturday, a little better chance south of Grand Rapids than there will be to the north. Dry Sunday and Monday, and then we'll have a chance of a shower or thunder shower again Monday night and Tuesday. So that kind of sums up what's ahead here for us. Taking a look at today's forecast, we're looking for temperatures to be in the upper 70s again. Humidity will be low, a cool 55 during the early morning. And the humidity about 50% during the afternoon, should be fairly low. Winds east to southeast, and they'll probably be closer to 5 miles an hour than the 10. So very light winds during the day today, and light winds for the boats that are in the Chicago to Mackinac race going on this weekend. Winds may perk up just a little bit. I think the strongest storms will be down toward the Chicago area on Saturday, so I think most of the boats will be past that activity. All right, let's go on then and take a look at some high temperatures here. This is for the day today. This computer's got us up at 80. I have 79, so we're pretty close. 77 for South Haven, 75 for Ludington. Ludington stayed in the 60s, a pretty unusually cool day for the middle of July. And up across the UP, temperatures warm up a little bit. Copper Harbor still dragging a bit at 67, but everybody else up in the low to mid 70s. Should be a beautiful day in the UP. Just a few high clouds about. We go to Saturday, and that's when we'll have a chance of a shower, thunder shower. In the warmer air especially, we're expecting temperatures to reach the mid to even upper 80s in Chicago and Gary and South Bend. 83 for Greenville. And 70s as you travel off to the north. Marquette's back to 69, but it shouldn't be too bad a day outside of the widely scattered thunder showers that should be coming through. And then on Sunday, should be a pretty nice day, good amount of sunshine. We've got 81 for Grand Rapids, 78 for South Haven, 79 up in Traverse City if you're heading in that direction. Marquette was 71. So Sunday may turn out to be the better half of the weekend, but all in all, a pretty nice day is expected. We'll take a look right now at the 5-day forecast. Some sunshine here, 78 degrees today. We bounce back to 82 on Saturday with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. And again, mid-80s down toward I-94. Lots of sunshine here for Sunday and for Monday. Temperatures both days low to mid-80s. And then upper 80s with more humidity on Tuesday with, again, about a 50-50 chance of a shower or storm. So the 2 days when we could catch some rain are Saturday and Tuesday. Friday, Sunday, and Monday look dry. And finally, we'll take a look at the 8-day forecast. Again, this huge bubble of hot air is expected across much of the south up into the plain states here. Cooler than average weather in northern Maine and also along the west coast. And if we go to the rainfall map, this is kind of interesting. When we get a pattern like this, there's usually several rounds of strong thunderstorms that develop in North or South Dakota and then race off to the east or east-southeast. And that's what the model is hinting at here. So we'll have to keep an eye on things. That's July 25 to 31. The possibility we'll see a couple of rounds of stronger thunderstorms here coming through with a pattern like this, with the super hot air probably staying just a little bit off to our south. It'll probably be warm here, maybe even a little bit warmer than average, but it will really be cooking and steaming from the central plain states on down to the Gulf of Mexico. All right, let's look at what we have here. Some interesting information from that Michelle has put together here. She is working at the airport tonight, of course. It's July 18th, so why are there 18 holes on a golf course? Well, I knew this because I am a caddy. I caddied with Bill Murray, the actor, before. So I caddied, I think, for 4 or 5 years. I don't know if I could count the 5th year or not, but I really enjoyed caddying. Got to be outside and watching the weather all the time. Got $3.50 for taking a bag of clubs around 18 holes back then. And then right as I was kind of graduating to something better, they upped it to $4. So interesting. Caddied at Westmoreland Country Club in Wilmette, Illinois. Originally, St. Andrews had 22 holes, but then some were combined to make 18. Since St. Andrews was considered the golfing center of the universe, and I guess there are a number of different golfing centers now, but it's still right up there at the top. That became a trend. Now, I have played on courses with obviously there are 9-hole courses, or you can go only 9 of the 18 holes. Normally not always, but normally the golf course goes out 9 holes and then comes back to the clubhouse, so you can quit after 9 holes. I've played a really nice little par 3 course, a peninsular golf course in Wisconsin, in Door County. The first hole is 60 yards. The second hole is 90 yards. The longest hole out of the 6 is 147 yards. And they got some hills and traps and whatnot, but it's just on a small scale. So, and I did quite well. I surprised myself when I did that. I mean, it's all relative. All right, let's see what else happened on July the 18th. Oh, July 18th at the Grand Rapids Planetarium. Double feature, classics by Queen and Pink Floyd at 7 p.m. Also on August 15th, $20 for non-members, and you get a member discount. You know, it's really interesting. Pink Floyd is from Dark Side of the Moon, and Queen is, of course, from Freddie Mercury, being Mercury like a planet, I guess. There's a tie-in. We took my mother at, I think, 97 years old to the Pink Floyd show, the Dark Side of the Moon. And she liked it. I thought it was really interesting. She's just a touch hard of hearing at the time. So the volume was up a little bit, and that was perfect for her. And she must have been about 97 or 98 then. Probably the oldest person to watch the show, but she had fun. That was not really familiar with Dark Side of the Moon, but or Queen for that matter. But she was always up for something fun like that. So yeah, Grand Rapids Planetarium is a great place to spend a day in summer. If it gets really hot, you want to get in the air conditioning. You could spend the better part of a day there. You can see the Gaslight Village that they transferred over from the old museum. Furniture industry, you can learn about that. They have a gigantic map. I love maps, and they have that there. And you can look out over the Grand River. Really a nice place to spend a day. Grand Rapids Public Museum and Planetarium. Okay, also on July the 18th, Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp has their Blue Lake Staff Band performance. 7:15 at the Stewart Shell. Now, Michelle did not write down if this costs money or not. A few of the concerts do, but this one may not. Directed by Kevin Giraldi, who's a director of bands and associate professor of conducting at the University of Illinois. So that's very cool. My wife has both a bachelor's and a master's degree from the University of Illinois. I went up to Wisconsin, and we have so many people in our family that are related to Big Ten schools. We got one of Gail's sisters went to Michigan, one went to Indiana, one stepbrother went to Purdue. Her father was out in Iowa. So we've kind of made the circuit, but I'm a Badger and she's an Illini. But if anybody's got some time off, you get to be outside 7:15 up at Blue Lake, which is in northern Muskegon County. You get up there on the expressway, there's some signs that direct you to the place, and you can hear a pretty nice concert at Blue Lake. July 18th, 2013, Detroit, the city, files for bankruptcy. The largest municipal bankruptcy filing in U.S. history by amount of debt, which was $18 to $20 billion. How do you get that far in debt? Of course, the shrinking population had a good thing to do about it. Oh, look at what's look what's in second place. Jefferson County. She didn't write this in here, but Jefferson County is Birmingham, Alabama. Wow, that was in 2011, pretty recent. And creditors absorbed $7 billion in losses, receiving 14 to 75 cents on the dollar. Oh my. All right, we have one more slide on this, I'm told. Let's take a look at that. Detroit's population peaked around 1950. Yeah, it was one of the top 10 cities in the U.S., 1.85 million residents at the time. What is the population of Detroit today? I know that it's about 600,000. Grand Rapids is about 195, maybe 196. 195,000, but I think the population of Detroit's about 600,000. So let's see the answer, which is, yeah, I was pretty close, 633,218. In fact, they may have lost 3,000 people since then. I think they've really leveled off. You got the Renaissance Center there. The sports teams are doing well. The Lions are doing well. The Tigers are doing well. Of course, you got U of M. Not too far away in Ann Arbor, but Detroit's starting to come back a little bit, and they've certainly gone through some hard times here. But we wish them the best. All right, up next, I think we have some pictures. No, we don't, not yet. Harry Truman signs the Presidential Succession Act. Now, this is not how many terms the president can have. It's the succession of the president. If the president resigns, like Richard Nixon did, then the vice president becomes the president. And then we have the Speaker of the House, that would be Johnson, and then the Senate President pro tempore, are next in line to be president after the vice president, and then all the rest of the cabinet members. So that is presidential succession. All right, now I think we have some pictures today. Oh, look at this. That's really a great picture. Okay, that's me. That is my sister Anne in the middle, and my brother Dave, who has made quite a living out of playing guitars all his life and has quite a collection of them right now. He has shared the stage with, let me see, Isaac Hayes, Martina McBride, Randy Travis, amongst others. He's played at the Horizon in Grand Rapids as the opening act to some big-time acts before. I think once they were even asked to open for Tim McGraw, and they couldn't do it because the band's leader was a heart surgeon and he had to do operations. And my brother's like, well, it's Tim McGraw, duty calls. But Dave can play any stringed instrument. He's fantastic. He can play banjo. He can play mandolin. He got his first guitar, I think, when he was in fourth grade, maybe fourth or fifth grade. And within a short amount of time, he was playing all the licks from the Beach Boys records, Fun, and whatnot. So, and he has so many great stories. We got to get him up here to interview him so he can tell some of the stories from his years of gallivanting around playing his guitar. But really good guy. I come from a great family. Really appreciate all of them. All right, what else do we have here? This is another picture from John Scully, and this is a kiteboarder or a kite sailor. And what they do is they wait for windy days. We just had a pretty windy day, and they get behind the break wall so the waves aren't super big. And then they can scoot back and forth. And if they want to find a bigger wave, they can go out a little farther there. But this is really a great time. And of course, in the summertime, the water's warm, so you don't have to worry about freezing like you do. And these guys will go out in December, before the ice forms, and do some kite sailing there. But John's got a picture of somebody that's like 3 stories high, just shot up a wave and way up in the air. So some of these people are really fun to watch. Okay, and up next, we have another picture from another John Doherty up in Benzie County. And this is Hoary Vervain. I first saw that, and I thought that would fit the Jeopardy category for 2 V's in a word. But very pretty lavender flower there, and it's really fun to take a look at all the flowers, wildflowers, and others that we planted here in Michigan that are really having a pretty good summer. If they've had some rain, we're pretty dry. We've had to haul the hose around here to help the plants and flowers out. But beautiful picture there, and thanks, John, for all of that. All right, I think we have reached the end of our musical and journey here. We talked about music a little bit there with Queen and Pink Floyd. We're back to the picture of me in my winter coat. Well, it was cooler than average by the Calder down on the Calder Plaza. Hope you have yourself a great day today. Again, chance of rain Saturday and Tuesday. Those are your 2 days when there might be a shower or a thunderstorm. Have yourself an awesome time, and I appreciate you hanging with us here until the end.